ministry. I am supportive of women being ordained to the gospel ministry. I have heard all of the arguments against it, some of which are allegedly biblical arguments, some of which are allegedly theological arguments. I find significant leaps of logic in many of those. For instance, Pastor, don't you know that men were created before women? Therefore, men should be the leaders and men should be the ones that are ordained. Oh, okay. Mosquitoes were created before men. There's a leap of logic there. It's just all of the arguments that I've heard, I don't understand. Having said that, I feel real funny about the way that we got here, and I feel funny about these recent votes because I think that it was done in a way that was divisive and in a way that was, some of the attitude and spirit I think was just not as Christ-like and as Christ-centered and as sensitive both toward our church administration as well as toward other places of the world field. There's a dialogue on the table. I think it's a good dialogue. I think it's an important policy in the context of North America. I think that the world field should allow us this and should allow us this variance. But the way we got there, I agree with my colleagues that the way we got there just makes my heart hurt a little bit, and I feel a little funny about that.
Yeah, I think part of the challenge is our church has been studying this for 40 plus years, the ordination of women. And I think at some point you come to the question, how long are we going to play with this? And I think part of what we saw happening with the Pacific Union, with the Columbia Union, and the North German Union is probably some sense of frustration. I worked in the Southeastern California Conference for about 8 years. And I know that had been a discussion years ago when I started working for them back in the 80s. So to me, the discussions weren't that new. These were old discussions. And I think at some point, how much longer are we going to study it? I understand the study is going on. And in 2015, we're supposed to hear from the study. But what are we going to hear in 2015? Don't know. And I think this is probably a challenge to the church. I believe that the church still has unity. I don't think unity necessarily means uniformity. We have different variances in different parts of the world. Where men are polygamous, they are married and they have to many wives, and they are allowed to be members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. So, I mean, I think there are a lot of challenges here. I don't think there is, one of my professors used to say there is no school solution. And sometimes there is no school solution. And I think this is one of those times that we do not have a school solution. And I don't know how much longer we're going to keep talking about it.
I want to ask the panel of ministers just a follow-up question.